Our company's called Roadrunner. I'm Ashwin.
I'm Jacinda.
And I'm Nima.
So our production company is called Roadrunner. This is based on our genre, which is social realism. As you see from the logo, it's very rough, which displays the nitty-gritty from today's society, which is some of the themes that are displayed. So the team consists of me, which works a lot of editing and the technical side of things.
I'm more on the creativity and art side.
And I tend to enjoy camera work. I like to use a variety of different shots and angles to get the most out of it.
So this is our mood board, which has been put together from a bunch of our head-ons and a few more extras. So for example, the money, which is displayed on the top right, shows the financial issues which our character is going to go through. Also, the two faces here shows the two different sides, as she does go through depression, but a lot of people don't actually know that.
We've also got an image here which shows like indicating like that she's caged and she's locked down and she's not as free as she'd like to be. She's sort of trapped in a lifestyle she don't really like, and she's also very artistic. So this is like an example of the sort of images she likes to draw and create out of a way to sort of express her emotions.
Right, so we've got an image here showing that of a shadow, so they're not really sure who they are. And on top of that, there's an image there showing self-harm, saying that they're fine when they're really not. So that's another theme in our film.
Just from you can see, there's a mind map that we've got on the board. So we have ideas for character, props, settings, and the themes we have. So the themes we have are like self-harm. We had cyberbullying, but we decided to get rid of it. So the character we have is supposed to be a female. She's looking at to be about 16. The themes displayed in our film are supposed to have self-harm, financial issues, lower class and teenage struggles, but also being evicted from their house.
So the young girl, she's suffering from depression from like sort of loads of things adding up. So for example, family arguments, constant financial issues going on at home, and these all sort of resulting in her being very stressed, and she takes this out on herself with self-harm, thinking that's like a way to ease herself. She's also, like I said, very artistic, so she expresses her emotions through art, and she seems to be a very secluded character. She's quite isolated and marginalised from the rest of the world.
Same with so we'll have loads of laptops, maybe. And our setting, will be a room, bedroom, and on top of that we'll have a school for our art room. This is our intended target audience. So our intended target audience age ranges from 12 to 21. So we've had this age done because we know teenagers are into blogs and stuff like that, social networking. So it'll be a bit more relatable to both genders and also that age group.
And furthermore, like the themes, so like self-harm and financial issues, they're labelled to like different age groups. Therefore, we didn't want to stick to like a specific sort of like just relate teenagers. So we thought we'd expand it a bit more to like those in the 20s and stuff like that. So it's a bit of like a diverse age group.
This is our character profile. So Lucy is our main character. She's an artistic 15-year-old girl who self-harms. She finds herself at ease at life when she does do art, when she does get away, which is sort of an escape for her. She is a general stereotypical kind of girl at that age range who likes to go on social networking a lot, who listens to a lot of different music.
We've got Miss Tawari here. She sees that Lucy's wrists, they're actually self-harmed. So Miss Tawari, as she's the most well-known and most artistic teacher the school has to offer, she wants to know what's wrong with Lucy, as she's one of her most favourite students. So, that's what Miss Tawari is there for.
We've also got the mother and the father, so they're only shown in the short film for a short period of time. But this is just to show a theme of like the parents arguing, and obviously that adds on to Lucy's stress. So you can, in this shot, you can see like that they're not very wealthy, that they're obviously constantly arguing, they haven't got a good relationship with both Lucy and each other. So
Who we have chosen is Sikandar. He is an alcoholic and is also unemployed. The reason the mother is stressing because he doesn't work, he doesn't do nothing, and he doesn't do anything to help them financially. And he's one of the main reasons why Lucy goes through her depression and why they have to have that constant theme of them moving houses and never being able to settle down.
we had had a brief description of what will happen in the footage as well as the shot and the length of the shot.
These are all estimates, so when we do actually film, it can give us an idea of how much each shot should be, so we can reach criteria. But also we do know that there will be a lot of changes along the way as we film.
So as for the cast, we've chosen these specific characters for like specific reasons. So we've got Sikandar as the father and John as the mother. This is because we feel like they're very mature. So therefore, even though they may not be the age of the protagonist, they'd be able to portray that in the way they act and well their attitudes themselves. We've also got Miss Tuari as a teacher because we thought it better to have like a female as a teacher rather than having like a male teacher. This is because females are stereotypically known to be very like empathizing. So therefore, because it's the issue of self-harm and this like the girl students suffering, it would be better for a female teacher to be able to empathize and sort of make her feel a bit more confident. We've got Lauren as Lucy. This is because we feel Lauren herself, she's very flexible when it comes to being able to film, so therefore like we were able to like sort of rely on her, and she's also studied drama, therefore she'll be able to like meet our requirements when it comes to her acting skills. And her personality as it is, it matches in the sense that she is very like she's very artistic as well, so she's able to like help when it comes to the props and stuff.
They're quite flexible as well.
Yeah, they're all very
Yeah,
flexible.
I am a 17-year-old currently studying my A-levels, therefore I may have to alter the filming schedule a little bit. Apart from that, I will ensure that I am there when required as my attendance is exceptional. I am a good listener, therefore will be able to listen to the group's requirements and act based upon this. I'm quite a shy person, however this task will allow me to break out of my comfort zone.
So basically, this is our storyboard. Well, this is some of it. We've got it on the other slides as well. So we're going to start off with our production logo, and then yeah, we'll just basically, yeah. So here's our storyboard, and it's been drawn to like the best of scales that we want the camera angles and stuff like that to be.
We'll be using different shots. For example, we're using the point of view in the beginning, so we'll be sort of like a point of view from the webcam. And that's how we're going to start and end it, just to sort of show our repetitive lifestyle.
Yeah.
We're going to be using handheld cameras to show sort of the unstable life that she's living and the chaos.
Yeah. So we've got the props here that we're going to be using most likely. So we'll have a palette of art, of paint, sorry. So yeah, so as she's an artist, she'll be using that quite a lot. There's also a razor blade there because she likes to self-harm quite a lot. So yeah, also we've got headphones because that's the only way she escapes from, it's the only way she's calm. And furthermore, we've got pencils here to show that she's colourful and for that artistic again, and also a laptop because she's always on it blogging. Yeah.
So this is our health and safety. This is just sort of like a little poster that we've put together to display the possible risks that might happen. So that, for example, we have when filming, we also make sure that all drinks are away from the equipment. All drinks and food in case they do get water damage. We also have to make sure that surroundings that we're using, first of all, if we're allowed to have permission, and if they're tidy enough, so we don't want nothing to be messy, which could lead to us falling over and leading to equipment falling over. This is a table that we put together as well, which show what we have to check before we film, what are the risks, how high and low the risks are, and what we should do to ensure that none of these risks happen. So for example, weather conditions, we obviously have to check a few days before to make sure if we're able to film that day, and if we're not, use an alternative day. And also we have to make sure that each member of the group has some experience on the cameras, so we all get a go on it, and also make sure we're using it properly.
So we have to create a filming editing schedule, so we have like a rough idea of when and where we can film and on what days. It just allows us to sort of plan ahead, so it just makes sort of our filming much more easy and efficient. So the editing's in yellow, as you can see, and the filming is in cream, and this just allows us to sort of match with the days where we can film in the specific locations.
So we've got the filming locations here. We've got a school here and here. Also you've got a hallway here where we'll be filming, and on top of that here's the DT room that we're going to film in, and there's the bedroom that you see here.
We chose the DT room specifically because we're going to have a close-up shot of the equipment they're using DT, and as the film goes on we'll sort of be dropping hints as to the last main theme of self-harm. So we're going to be showing all the dangerous equipment and how looking at all the surroundings really. As for costume, we keep the girl wearing very basic clothes. So we chose her to be wearing a hoodie because obviously that is very stereotypical for teenagers of the modern day, to be wearing hoodies, and we've chosen her to sort of have a very simple face, and perhaps she won't be wearing makeup at all, just to show that she's very simplistic.
Also with her costume, we're going to keep her sort of very covered up. And she wants to hide her wrists as well. Also, it relates to the type of character. relates to the type of character she is.
So now we've got images of the outfit that the teacher might wear. So obviously she'd be more dressed smartly and more appropriately. This is to show the authority. As for makeup, we had to on the blog.
Yeah.
As for makeup, we've basically thought into this, obviously the self-harm theme, and by doing research online we've sort of found a way that we can make a self-harm cut look more realistic and visible. So on our blog we've created a tutorial on how we've done it, to just show the process. This is the final, and this is just sort of another way of doing it. So
this is our shot list, which is going to help us know to match a storyboard. So when we are filming, we will know what shots have to do, what shots have to do, what movement the shot's going to be, the angle, and what's supposed to be happening in that frame. So here's examples of them. Some of the boxes are empty, as we know it is going to change over time while we're filming. Also, where it says mid-angle, it is actually just eye level, and the camera will be still at the hand. Is there any questions?
Okay, thank you very much. That was a really good presentation.
Okay, as for the script, so we've just sort of we're going to have a voice note, so that's going to act as a narrative. And because the main character, she'll be typing her blog and going through her emotions and the way she feels in her blog, it'll be sort of her reading out to the audience from her blog as if it's her diary. So we start off with the voice of her typing on her blog, and this just gives the audience a rough idea of what she's experiencing. The next shot will be of her sort of going down the stairs, and this is where she hears a knock on her door. So the council is now knocking on her door, and obviously her parents are here and they're all trying to act like they're not home, just to avoid the chaos, because it's obviously a repetitive situation. That leads to an argument between the mother and father. That's something that Lucy just had enough of and she's sort of trying to escape from. So you then see her grabbing her headphones, obviously to go for a walk and block out the world, which she does do with headphones. They must be very a lot of teenagers of her age. On this walk, you see her once again with the voiceover on top, so you're able to hear her emotions and the way she feels. She then breaks into school, which is not very typical, and she says it on her blog also. She goes into her art room, where it shows that she's expressing her emotions. This is when the teacher finds her there and notices the self-harm mark on her arm. And she's there to sort of comfort and sympathise with her. The next scene is her going back into her house, and you have like a short conversation between her and her mum, where you sort of notice that their relationship isn't like the most ideal relationship between a mother and a daughter. So you can see that she's having like issues when it comes to expressing her feelings with her parents. The next scene is the whole self-harm, so that's where you see her actually going through that depressive state where everything's just got too much for her. And lastly, it sort of goes back to the first scene, so it's her typing on her blog again on her next day, just showing that it's a repetitive lifestyle and it's like a cycle that she can't really get out of.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So just a few questions from me. First of all, you said that the image with the shadow just there.
Yeah.
You said it's because she's not sure who they are.
Yeah, they're not exactly sure whose shoes they're actually in because, as from their point of view, they should be hardworking. They should be doing their work. They shouldn't be doing no self-harming. They should be a
Are
different
you
person.
talking about the protagonist?
Yeah, the main protagonist, Lucy.
Right. Okay.
So,
So-
she's not like enjoying the
So
character.
it's a little bit of an identity crisis. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Your target audience. You said that it was between 12 and 21-year-olds. Why did you go with that as a target audience?
We don't want to say it was just for like 12 to 16 or 12 to 18 like specifically. So not just teenagers. We want to like sort of have young adults as well because self-harm and the themes covered it is something that loads of people of different ages suffer from.
Okay, so if you were to give your film a classification,
Yeah.
what would you classify it?
15.
So then a 12-year-old can't watch it. And then you can't really address self-harm in the way that you're planning to do it. I think you need to reconsider your 12 to 21-year-old because that is a very broad target audience. And when you're thinking about that, take it back to the research that you've done on classifications and kind of what each classification entails and what isn't acceptable in each one. And I think you need to work it according to that and how explicitly you're going to address these themes of financial difficulty and self-harm and depression. They're quite dark topics, so I don't think that they're appropriate for a 12-year-old maybe. Okay, so reconsider that. Casting. Okay. So you've got the mother, Sikander as the father, Janvi as the mother, and then Lucy.
Yeah.
How old are Janvi and Sikander supposed to be in the film?
Considering Lucy is like a teenager herself, we'd have the father and mother being like probably just late 30s to 40s.
Would you say they look like 30 to 40-year-olds?
With makeup and costume.
I reckon we could do that.
But as well, even with our filming as well, you don't actually, you don't see them.
At all?
Not at all. You might see one clip of the mother. However, with the father and the mother, it's more of overhearing the argument. And
It's like a peeping shot.
exactly. And when you do see them, yeah.
From Lucy.
And when Lucy does see them, we might do a pull focus as well. So you can see the two people standing there, they are arguing. Well, you can't directly see them as clear.
I think in order to get the authenticity of what you're trying to achieve here, I would think about whether you have any other options, whether you've got kind of an older sibling that you could get to play the role, even if it is a short role. If you've got an older sibling, I mean, Sikander possibly with makeup, and the way that you get him to dress, you might be able to use him as older. Again, I haven't seen him in person, so I can't say, but based on that photograph. Janvi looks very young to me, and she probably looks too young to be Lucy's mother. And if you've got a cast who don't look the part, the reality is it's just not going to look very realistic. Okay, I think you do need to think about the casting again. I think Lucy as a character will work really well. Okay.
Oh, that's alright.
I think Miss Tiwari will work really well as well. You know, the creative and empathetic teacher that you described her to be. Also, when you're talking about them as a family, you need to think: do they look like they are mother, daughter, and son and mother and daughter, and father and daughter? To me, if I was to put Lucy's photo there and look at them as a family, they don't look like they're related. Yeah, they need to look like they are related. Okay. Your names of your characters at the moment: Miss Tiwari is Miss Tiwari, and Janvi is just the mother, and Sikandar is just the father. I like that you've given Lucy a stage name, Lauren, but you need to do that with your other characters as well. Okay, you need to give them names. Okay, in terms of roles, you said that the father is unemployed. So if you go to the next, is it the next slide? No, the one where you've got, there, that's it. So you said that the father is an alcoholic and he's unemployed. What does the mother do?
She's stereotypical mother, she's a housewife. She's not working out that, so they're basically giving off
benefits.
She's on benefits, right?
Yeah.
And in the script, through the argument, you can see that.
Okay,
so
in the script she says, I cook, I clean, I'm the one who provides for everyone in this house.
in the sense of
So like
Like,
the father just
looking
doesn't,
after
he
Lucy.
just buys.
But provides for everyone in this house, you're making it sound like she works. Okay? In terms of them both being unemployed essentially, thinking about the storyline, has this always been the case that they've both been unemployed
No.
or,
We originally had the father as being employed.
right?
Then the argument would have been, oh, but I'm up to work. And then it'd be, well, we're just
I think you need to establish how they've gotten to a stage of them both being in that.
It's like, so the stuff like the character profiles and like the background, that's mainly will be shown in when Lucy's typing up her blog.
Okay.
So when she does type up her blog, you can see the titles of all the other pages. Like when she's scrolling through, because we use the Screen-O-Matic, you'll be able to see sort of like headings of the other blogs that she's done, which can give away a little bit. And then also when she
What,
actually,
how? What do you mean?
so like when she does go onto her blog, the
Yeah.
previous blogs that she's written before, it could be like a heading of just like mother just lost her job or something. So when we do that on the Screen-O-Matic, you'll be able to see like in bold what's actually happened along the way till she's come into her new post or what she's about to write for for today.
I think in terms of you guys establishing the storyline in a more kind of A-level manner, I would avoid telling the story through the blog headings. I would rather you kind of established it through the characters, even whether it's through the argument that the parents are having, but establish it via that.
But I think those will also be given away from the voiceover, so that'll be like there's a narrative for so
Yeah, we'll come on to that. Okay, so in terms of the parents' background, I think you need to think really carefully about what is their actual background, how they got to where they are today. Although you might not see all of it, in terms of you guys actually explaining what the character is to your actor, you need to have that kind of prepared for them so they know, okay, this is what my background, this is what the character's about. Your physical timeline, it would have been really useful if you had matched that up to your storyboard, so that we could actually see, okay, this is what we're going to have on the screen, and that's a feedback point that we've been in most every group. Okay, I think your storyboard, although the sketches look good, there needs to be, I don't know whether it's on there, but I just can't see it because it's in pencil, but it needs to be a bit more detailed, so tell me what the shot's going to be. Use your shot list to inform your storyboard as well. Okay. Your props list. So your props list, I think at the moment is quite simple. I'm guessing these are things that you've just used as a representation of the internet, and they're not actually going to look like that. Because obviously that looks like a brand new set of pencils, and that tells me that she has never really used them before. And you want it to look like it's something that she does all the time. if she's got Beats and she's got a laptop, it suggests to me that she hasn't really got her family aren't coming from a difficult financial background. So the things that she has and the clothes that she wears are all a contribution to you guys portraying that they have financial difficulties and they are facing eviction. And so if they're facing eviction, then you need to be able to show that through the mise en scène, particularly your settings and the props and your costumes. Yeah? In terms of the house, you put your setting, okay, right, so your settings, in my opinion, the field is fine and the DT classroom is fine, but the bedroom and the hallway, is this the house that you're planning on filming in?
Yeah, because like with the bedroom, it's quite compact as well. So
Okay, so the bedroom is quite compact, which is good, that's fine, but you would need to think about the mise en scène. How are you going to show that she is somebody who's passionate about art?
I think I maybe actually, when it comes to filming, have like all her art pieces on the wall.
Yes, so
we've
that all
relevant.
needs to
spoken
come
some
into your,
already.
that all needs to come into your planning. So we need to be able to build her, essentially your bedroom is like almost a reflection of what kind of person you are, your taste, your likes, you know. So have posters maybe of maybe the drawings that she's done.
And music artist.
You know, just thinking about some of the things that you put on your mood board, okay? Inspirations for her. Things that show that she's depressed, those pictures should reflect that. And I would say her room needs to be quite dark, maybe quite messy, to indicate a dysfunctional family almost. Yeah? And that stuff needs to go into your planning, okay? With the hallway, that doesn't look like a hallway of a family that is financially in a bit of a struggle. That looks like a very pretty hallway to me. Nahima's house, is it? Whose house is it?
JT's.
JT, very nice hallway. But that essentially is contradicting what your storyline is. Yeah? So you're going to need to use somewhere that's a little bit dark and dingy, because the reality is you're telling me that the parents don't work, they're on benefits, there's no way they can live like that. Okay?
Yeah.
Costumes for the mom and dad, this needs to be considered, because you haven't put anything in terms of images for their costumes. Okay? I agree with what Ashwin was saying about Lucy being quite covered up, because she's obviously got her scars and things, and that's a good thing. But make sure that her costumes aren't designer in any way. Yeah. Filming and editing schedule. Okay, right. I'm just wondering, the 12th and 13th, it says you're not able to film or edit due to being off school site. Why is that?
That's Saturday and Sunday.
Is that
Where-
Saturday and
yeah,
Sunday?
where
Okay,
we
fine.
can.
You can't film on weekends?
We are able to film
It
weekends.
says not able to film
However,
or edit.
no editing we obviously have to do in the classroom.
Yeah,
so if
edit.
we have access, we can. As for filming, by then if we are,
You should be done.
yeah, we
Yeah.
should be done.
The only thing I'd change about that is actually put in exactly what you're going to be filming. So reference a shot list, shot 1, 2, 3, or whatever it is. So you know, okay, these are the shots that we need to get done today. And put that into the filming and editing schedule. Last thing is the script. I think needs to be a little bit. There needs to be a bit more thought that goes into it, because you need to develop. You need to use this script to develop your character. So, for example, when you've got your protagonist doing your voiceovers and this typing on the blog, that's really what's going to develop and establish her emotions. And I think at the moment, having had a quick read of them, it doesn't. And therefore you need to put a little bit more thought into what is being said. Yeah? But on the whole, I like the idea, and I think you've got something good to go with. And once you can make, you know, thoughtful considerations of the things that I've said, you should be good to go.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
You're welcome.